thank you for that intro. One thing they say in show business is never follow children or animals. So amazing. So inspired by that and being a mom. I'm definitely getting my kids involved in this tomorrow's lemonade stand. Well, thank you so much. I'm certainly honored to be asked to speak here and at this amazing conference. I'm Kristi Yamaguchi, founder of the Always Dream Foundation, which is based right here in Northern California. And some of you might know me from some of my past careers, past or present: figure skater, ballroom dancer, author, clothing designer, mom, wife. A lot of job hopping going on, and it makes me feel old. But really, all of these experiences have combined to nurture my true passion, and that is really giving kids a chance to reach their full potential. Let me describe to you a little bit about our foundation. Who we are. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary next year, so that's been 20 years of serving kids in need. And our purpose has been and will always be embracing those hopes and dreams of these children. What we do and what we focus on now, our mission is pretty simple: early childhood literacy. We help kindergartners learn to read. And why we do it, it's always been about allowing kids to dream big, to know that they can dream big, and to use books and technology to help them do that. I don't know if many of you saw the recent op-ed column in the New York Times called "The Gift of Reading." Journalist and author Frank Bruni said it best: words. A child needs a forest of words to wander through, a sea of words to splash in. A child needs to be read to. A child needs to read. So pretty simple, that's our goal. Give them books and give them these words, and you can give a child a lifetime of opportunity for success. So where did I get this idea of focusing on early childhood literacy? Well, I had just written my first children's book, Dream Big, Little Pig, and my daughters were at that learn to read stage, and my husband and I both realized the importance of the parent being engaged at home. I also remember some of my favorite books: Green Eggs and Ham, Pat the Bunny, Charlotte's Web, to name a few. But anyway, I started the Always Dream Foundation while I was touring on the skating shows. But after a few years, we were at a crossroads and realized that we wanted to find a clearer focus for the organization. And I pretty much found that when we had our two daughters. We made sure that they had everything that they needed to learn to read, and realized that other kids out there weren't so lucky. And really felt like we wanted to level the playing field out there for these kids to have the same opportunities as my daughters. So we sat down with the board of directors and kind of asked ourselves, as a small organization, how can we help? So we decided to start at the foundation of a child and teaching them how to read. Well, today I'll share my own story with you. Really a story about a kid with nothing but a dream, who was given the right tools, the support from her family, passionate teachers to help nurture her, and of course, Olympic-sized village of community support. And I want to share with you what I learned from that. What helped me and worked for me back then will help for every child out there now. Everything that helped me realize my dream can help kids learn to read. And to kind of see where I'm going with this, I'll give you a little bit of my background. I was born right here in the San Francisco Bay Area, born and raised, and yes, I stood out even as a baby. I was born with severely turned-in feet, and from about the time I was 3 weeks old until about 18 months old, I wore casts on both legs. And once those casts came off, I wore protective shoes with a little bar in between it, so you can imagine me learning to walk kind of like Frankenstein. Believe me, no one knew, and I didn't know, that eventually my feet would find my success. And I'll tell you a little bit about my first skating memory. I was about 6 years old and saw a local ice show and fell in love with skating. Begged my mom to take me to the rink and stepped on the ice with her. She was holding me up, and I just kept saying, "Let's go faster, let's go faster." So then that led to my first lesson on the ice, and that happened to be a group lesson. And being a very shy, timid kid that I was very scared to go out there. I kind of clung to the rail and noticed that other kids had a much easier time. Well, I remember my mom saying early on, well, some people aren't as naturally talented and need to work harder. Maybe a tough lesson, tough love lesson at 7 years old, but it was a good one to learn early on, and that's exactly what I did. I worked harder. I learned by doing over and over again, and as my husband says, repetition builds strength. So I started in rental skates. You all know those. And if I was going to get better, I needed the right tools. So I got my first pair of ice skates when I was about 7 years old, and they weren't expensive, no. Were they custom made? No. They were probably $25 stock skates that you could buy anywhere. But hey, they were brand new, they were my own, they weren't smelly like those rental skates. And at this point, I knew that I had the tools to compete with everyone else. And talking about competition, I'll tell you about my first one. It was back at that local ice rink, and I skated my best, but I came 11th out of 12. And I remember asking my mom, why do those other girls get medals? I want one of those. Everyone wanted to be the next Dorothy Hamill, the next Peggy Fleming, and what gave me the drive, what gave me the will to get better? And I think it was being exposed to those skaters who were much better than me. It helped me develop a competitive streak, it motivated me, and darn it, I was gonna get a medal at that next competition. And I think my parents saw that drive in me and made a lot of sacrifices to help me get better, getting up at 4 a.m., so I was at the rink by 5, 6 days a week for several years. This kind of family dedication is something that I'll always be thankful for. And that family dedication is key to our Always Reading program. We train the parents how they can share books and in turn instill a love of reading in their child. At the end of the academic year, we hold a graduation ceremony. And there I am with my new skates. And the kids receive their very own blue book bag, along with the book that they get to take home and jumpstart their at-home library. Another popular piece to our program is a digital tool. So I was inspired by One Laptop per Child that is out in rural areas of the world. So I figured, why not give kids right here in our backyard books, lots of books, on tablets, so they can not only experience technology, but also improve their literacy skills at the same time. But of course, tablets aren't cheap, so we needed to find sponsors to help make this happen. And how are we gonna do that? How are we really gonna make a difference? Well, it finally dawned on me. Use all of the experience that I had gained over the years of practice and of training, and draw upon that knowledge of skills and strategy that I already possessed. So I approached this challenge very much like I approached my skating career. We knew we weren't experts in the early literacy field, so we found educators and mentors and developed an education advisory board. And we knew we needed supporters other than our friends and family, so we looked for sponsors who shared our same vision. But like in anything, and especially in figure skating, starting out in the early stages, there's a lot of trial and error, or in my case, a lot of triple Lutz, triple toe combination errors. I'll explain. Triple Lutz is a 3-revolution jump, and the landing becomes the takeoff for the second jump, another 3-revolution jump. So difficult move, and I think I fell hundreds of times trying to master it, but finally did. So our Always Reading program was very much like learning a new jump. It was a struggle at times to incorporate that 21st century technology learning tool into the curriculum and to really find a way to make all those moving parts work together. There were 3 big challenges that we pretty much faced. One, the technology itself. 4 years ago, we started out in our classrooms on Nooks. Well, we all know where those are now. Also, changing teachers' attitudes about bringing technology into the classroom, especially for these young students, and creating the right program. It took us a few years to find the right partners, but we did, for the Always Reading program, a couple. One provides traditional hard copy books, so the kids could read with their parents and families, as well as ebooks in the classroom, and the other one is a digital language arts program. And what we learned from this journey, well, literacy starts early. We all know that. Literacy starts very early, and I could not have been a champion if I waited to learn to skate. And another thing, we need to support our teachers. Just like I receive so much inspiration, encouragement, to work harder, to try harder from my coach as a skater, teachers are the key to driving our program and engaging families to sit down with their children. And from the stories I hear, I know that we are making a difference. One mother told us that having access to digital technology is very rare in her community. And ebooks and tablets, she said, changed her son's life. He loves to read digital books, and with her now, and it's a very special time that they share. Also, I recently returned from a trip from Hawaii where we were supporting some schools. And this is what one of the principals gave me, a thank you card, and I think all of you know how thank you cards mean the world to you, and I'll just read a little bit. We've been so blessed by you and your foundation. You really are saving lives. That is what I believe drives me to do this work. You are making a difference in so many lives. So this in itself is something that keeps motivating us and keeps us driving our work forward. Well, 23 years ago, in 1992 Winter Olympics, I was in the lead going into the long program. I was the first of the final group of skaters to go out to compete. And it was terrifying. I won't glaze it over. It was scary. My heart was racing. I felt the pressure and had a lot of doubts. But I kept telling myself, this is it. This is the moment. This is what the last 14 years are really leading up to. And I knew I had the foundation of support, the tools, and the encouragement of so many people to help me do it. And then I did. I won. Sorry here. So there I am 23 years ago. I stand up here now 23 years later, and I have another huge opportunity in front of me about making a difference in so many lives of children, and I'm thinking the same thing. This is it. This is the moment. This is what the last several years have built up to, and I'm really proud of our Always Reading program. We're going into our 4th year, helping 1,600 students, 66 classrooms throughout 3 states, and we're rapidly growing. And we know that it's an exciting time. They're learning on a digital platform, and we can really level the playing field out there with every kid we reach, close that achievement gap. We estimate that a tablet costs about $200, an ebook about $15. And if you knew that you could change the course of a child's life for $15, would you do it? Well, I'm living proof that for $25 and a pair of skates and the right encouragement, you can change the course of a life. Through words and through the right technology to deliver those words, I'm hoping to be able to make every child out there shine. And in closing, I urge each and every one of you to look deep down and re-examine your lives. Think about your own experiences, your own challenges that you faced, and I bet you already possess the knowledge and the wisdom and the tools to really change the world. So thank you so much for allowing me to share our story with you on behalf of the Always Dream Foundation, and remember to always dream. Thank you.